More speed off the tee. More control with your irons. More spin with your wedges. And more opportunity to shoot lower scores. The all-new Pro V1 and Pro V1X.
Welcome to Talk Birdie to Me. This is Australia's most popular golf podcast with former world number 16 Nick O'Hearn, the only player to beat Tiger Woods twice in match play, and tour pro Mark Allen, who played professional golf around the world for 15 years, including a British Open. We're coming from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. Titleist is the #1 ball in golf, and FootJoy is the #1 shoe and glove in golf. And thanks to our great partners, Watch My Numbers, the most powerful database golf app in the world. Download from the App Store or Google Play. Ping, as with Nick O'Hearn, will help you play your best. See your local golf shop or professional for a Ping Club fitting. The Golf Clearance Outlet beat everyone's prices. Visit golfclearanceoutlet.com.au for your nearest store. And Better, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Now that's better. Now, from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, it's time for Talk Birdie to Me. Here's Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
Well, that beautiful picture behind us is a golf course called Erin Hills, and that's where the $12 million US Open is being played this week. Nick, good to see you.
Good to see you, Mark. 12 million?
12 million
Wow.
US dollars. That equates to something like 20 million Australian pesos.
Very nice.
That is incredible
Very
money.
nice. And we got a good Australian contingent playing as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
There was one girl I've never heard of.
Yeah, I know.
She must be playing golf in Perth somewhere.
Well, yeah, Jennifer
she's from Perth, but
Elliott, I think was her name.
that's her.
Yep.
She must be playing college golf.
Mm.
She shot 8 under in qualifying.
As the medalist, I heard.
Was she the medalist
She was
as well?
the leading player there to
Okay.
qualify for the US Open.
So who else
congrats.
is playing? Our regular names?
Minjee,
Yep.
Hannah.
Yep.
You got Grace Kim. Who
Yes.
else we got? Gabby Ruffles,
Kyriacou.
and Lydia Ko from New Zealand.
I'm glad you throw the New Zealanders
Oh,
in
of
there
course.
because we love you all,
We do.
all of our New Zealand friends, and you're part of Talk Birdie to Me, that's for sure. Quick pop quiz. Last time the men's US Open was played here was in 2017. Who won the
Yes,
tournament?
I think that was Brooks.
Yeah, it was Brooks.
was.
And remember what they said at the start of the week?
Oh, they said it was going to be a very, very tough golf
It was
course.
a 9,000-yard course and nobody was going to shoot under par.
Yeah.
Can you remember the winning score? I've cheated. I've looked
I
it
think
up.
it's close to 20.
16 under par.
16, okay.
They said nobody, they might be one person under par, and that's the way we want it.
Did
we
he-
want one person under par to have the trophy.
Did he double the last?
He may well have doubled the
Maybe.
last.
Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, so he was close to 20.
So it'll be interesting to see how the girls play. 6,800 yards, past 72, $12 million bucks. Apparently, they're roll on the greens. So not crazy speeds, but certainly crazy firmness.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Well, that'll play into the hands of the longer hitters because with the shorter clubs
Yeah.
in, more spin on the ball. Nelly Corder, #1, playing great golf. Gino
Yeah.
Titikal, she's been playing some incredible golf as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, look for the power players this week.
Is there a Sepp Straka in the field type
Please.
where there is no
Come on.
respect given who could possibly win the tournament? I'm interested if there is.
Let me have a think about that through the pod.
It's funny, it's a bit like Japan. Remember Japan years ago? If you didn't know better, you would swear to God they're just sharing the trophies because there was something different every week. Apart from Nelly Corder's run last year, where she won, 7 out of about 8 or 9 events or
5
something
or
crazy.
6 in a row, yeah.
6 in a row. Apart from that run, it's really hard to pick winners in women's golf because there are so many good players who just seem capable of winning at this level.
Correct.
So if you're asking us for winners, we do not know. We've got no idea. Unless
Okay.
Nellie's playing well, we don't know. And,
Yeah.
and Nellie's not playing so well at the moment.
No, she's there or thereabouts. Maybe she's
Not dominating.
peaking towards something. Who knows? So,
What about Hannah?
I like Hannah's game
Yeah.
and Minjee, to be honest. Both
Yeah.
of them, they're always so rock solid. And but someone who has been playing well is Steph Kyriacou.
No,
lately,
you
so-
took it from
Sorry,
me. I was
sorry.
going to go with
Okay.
Steph. I reckon look for Steph to play well this week. She's swinging so well. And, just a little bit of magic's been happening for Steph of late. She's holding shots on the last shot of her tournament and doing some incredible things. There's just a little bit of magic in the air. And in professional sport, I reckon it counts for stuff. It counts for belief. It counts for other things. It counts for your bank balance. She'll come into this tournament under the radar.
Yep.
And also full of confidence.
You need a bit of magic in the air, and we need magic as well, because there's a guy here called Magic Mike who helped us get set up today. So shout out to Magic. Thank you.
Tell everybody. Look at that. He's gone red. Tell everybody what happened. We delayed our start time by about 2 hours because of why? Because of why? Magic Mike came down and shook his head.
It was not 2 hours. That is ridiculous.
What happened?
I forgot one plug.
Okay.
And Magic fixed it.
Yep.
Well, he's the best in the business, Magic Mike.
No, right.
Okay. Strap yourself in.
Yeah.
I told you to just blank off this second part of the pod.
You said you got some news, but I'm not sure what it is.
I've got some news. And the person who told me, you know what he said?
Mm-hmm.
He said, don't go with it on the pod.
So of course, you're going to go with it on the pod.
I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with it. But I haven't. I'll never reveal my source. Where is he? Where's my camera? I'll never reveal my source, ever. Not even to you guys, to nobody.
No, you are good at that. You don't reveal sources.
But believe me, this has come from somebody who is in the right rooms of late, who told me this. LIV Golf.
Oh, it's a LIV thing. Okay.
Is looking at acquiring the DP World Tour.
Ooh.
Now,
wow.
It's being spoken about at the highest possible levels. And after this one person told me, I did touch base with one other who said, yeah, it's been going on for ages. Like it was no big deal. Like it's not like it wasn't news. So,
but it's getting serious, maybe.
Well, if LIV and the PGA Tour cannot come together, cannot get in agreement with everything that is there,
which probably doesn't look as though it's going that way at the moment, given
that's right.
The latest.
No, it's not going to happen.
No.
The LIV ratings are falling through the floor. PGA Tour with Scheffler and Rory are going the other direction. As far as the PGA Tour is concerned, why? Why would we do that?
Sure.
You know, why would we? But if Yasser and co from Saudi Arabia go, okay, if we can't buy the PGA Tour, if we can't get in there, let's really cause them some headaches. Because they have not the $8 billion PIF, they have bonused that up. I've told you this before. It is now $2 trillion. It's a $2 trillion fund.
So you're saying they're well funded?
They're going okay. So I'm just thinking out loud. Okay?
Yeah, but at the same time, isn't DP World Tour, they're owned by the PGA Tour?
That's
now,
right. They're in cahoots.
Okay,
they're in cahoots. I don't know.
Are they owned or not? I don't know.
I think it's pretty safe to say that the PGA Tour owns a hefty piece of the DP World Tour.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I just know.
Nor do I.
They're part of it.
Nor do I.
Mark, did the person? I'm not going to ask you to tell us who, because you're not going to do that. I know you won't even tell us. But did the person say to you not only that this is the conversations are going on, but did they give an indication of how advanced those conversations may be?
His words were, what else can they do? Is what he said. He said at this stage, if they want to take golf to the whole world, this is a really good platform. If they can't get the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour is next. And if I'm Yasser and I want to stick it right in their ear, and I reckon Yasser is that type of guy, I reckon he would love to stick it in their ear, then look for the DP World Tournaments to be 10 million US each, just one after another.
So more than the average PGA Tour event, whatever that is.
I think
these days.
I think the purses will be equivalent, if not more, if I'm Yasser.
Yep.
And Yasser, we've seen what he's done with some of their other players on the LIV circuit. I mean, the money is outrageous. I mean, it's crazy money.
Yep.
With those, will LIV Golf continue? I imagine, he wants his team golf to keep on going. Will there be 14 of them like there are currently? I think that's the right amount of tournaments. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the team aspect is their their biggest selling point, I guess, going forward. It's kind of funny because in the beginning when this all came along, we thought like the DP, I think they approached the DP World Tour, right? But the guys or the people upstairs sort of said, no, we're going to go down this route, a different route. Because some of the players have gone, hang on, we didn't even get a say in all this. I don't think the DP World Tour brought it to the players. The committees or the boards made the decisions on their behalf.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who was the chairman at the time or the CEO there. Was it Pelly?
Yeah, it was Pelly.
It was Keith
It was
Pelly.
Pelly.
So this is not a new thing, I guess, but they've almost circled back to almost where they started. And probably, again, friends of mine who play on the DP World Tour, they've kind of gone, we should have done this in the first place.
Yeah.
So, but they went down the Asian Tour route, sort of helped them out with their international series. Yep. And one way or another, I think PIF are going to become the biggest tour in the world monetarily. Now, not history-wise and everything, although if they go with the DP World Tour, history-wise they would be. Because all these tournaments, some of the tournaments, the French Open, might be the oldest tournament in the world. It could be 100 years old.
Well, to my way of thinking, it's the best possible outcome that we would have in world golf. The best possible. Now, there's a couple of things that might go both ways. The race to Dubai, would that become the race to Riyadh? I would say absolutely. If they're going to fund it all.
Kind of rolls off the tongue too, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Number two, the top 10 exemption on the DP World Tour currently, if you want to go across and buy a trade over in America, then you're more than welcome. Come on over. Would that go up in smoke?
Would they flip that top 10 on the PGA Tour?
Maybe they would flip it. I mean,
would.
who knows? Who knows? But you just think what we're talking about here. If they want to do something extraordinary, Scottish Open goes to 30 million. Oof. Irish Open goes to 30 million.
Well, hang on. The Australian PGA.
Australian PGA.
The Australian Open.
Open.
Co-sanctioned.
Let's get the Sandbelt Classic up or the Australian Masters or, maybe we get the big Perth tournament rolling again. It's a beautiful little, stop-in on the way to the east coast of Australia. And then the New Zealand Open Pro-Am. We wouldn't mind you fixing that Pro-Am if you don't mind, everybody over there in New Zealand. So this isn't going to happen, but it is being spoken about now. And to me, what a pathway. Now, here's the other one. The big American players, are they going to be happy travelling all around the world? Because we know, history tells us that Americans do not like to travel. They just don't like it. Why would you? It's a big way to travel from Los Angeles to New York. It's a 5-hour trip, Sure. So it's quite a big place. Would Dustin Johnson be happy travelling around? Well, I guess it depends how much you pay, Dusty, doesn't it? I mean,
everyone has a price. So.
Yeah, John Rahm might think this is fantastic. He can just get his big Ponderosa in Spain and just base himself out of there and do whatever the hell he likes. Brooks, I don't get that vibe from Brooks. Well, I reckon he's happy by the pool in Florida.
I know, but he started his career on the DP World Tour.
Oh, that's true.
Remember that? And
yeah, that's where a good point.
That's where he wet his feet and built his game up. So
What about Cam Smith? I reckon Cam Smith might get a full diary of tournaments to play in again, which would help Cameron Smith. I don't think he's playing his best at the moment. Whether that's because of what's happening in his golf game or whether it's because he's not playing enough golf, who knows? But it would certainly help him. Anyway, it's on the table. It's being spoken about. And what a result for the world game. I think it would be absolutely enormous.
Yeah. He's pretty good with his sources, isn't he, Dan?
Well, I want to know who it is, but I know there's no chance he's going to tell us.
No.
Well, next time you see me, I might have a black eye because I promised him I wouldn't go on the pod. So, hello. I wouldn't have gone with it.
Oh, I thought you were about to release it.
I wouldn't have gone with it, but I did get someone else saying, it's on the table. And it's pretty much basic news in America. Players know about that in America. That has been spoken about.
Okay.
Anyway, there you go.
Interesting.
All right.
There's my news.
All right.
This week, New South Wales takes on Queensland in rugby league, and it's New South Wales players, no matter what club they play for, state of origin, whatever state they're deemed to have come from, because the rules are crazy, and it's bigger than the grand final. It's the biggest. It's so big it's not funny. So one of our feedbackers sent in a wonderful question.
Well, the question was, actually, it wasn't so much from a feedbacker, from a wolfpacker. It was actually from my wife.
Oh, really?
Oh,
From Jay.
okay.
From Jay.
So-
Righto, Jay.
So she said, why don't you do or have a conversation around the best golfer by state of origin in Australia? Best golfer from Queensland, best from New South Wales,
Yeah.
best from WA,
Yeah.
so on
I
and
like
so
it.
forth.
Very
Interesting.
good.
Interesting.
I like it. The only one I'm having trouble with is South Australia. But I did remember Adam Scott.
Adam Scott was born in South Australia.
was born in South Australia,
Yeah,
then
that's
moved
true.
to Queensland.
Mhm.
So to make it easy for us, Adam Scott with the Masters is the best golfer to come out of South Australia.
And then you've got, I think, Jane Crafter. I think she's a South Australian,
yeah,
right?
Jane was
Because they've got
very
the
good.
Crafter family.
Yeah, Jane was a hell of a player. Righto. Well,
okay, so
there's South Australia
South
done.
Australia, taken.
And by the way, South
Queensland
Australia,
will
lift
be-
your game. Come on, we need you to get going well. Jack Carter, geez, I would love to see Jack Carter playing on the DP World Tour. I reckon he'd be a star over there.
Well, if you go west, you've got
Oh, well, we got the
Minjee,
currents.
you've got
Minjee, Hannah,
you've got Hannah, and you've got Graham Marsh. Don't forget Graham
Graham
Marsh.
Marsh, the most underrated golfer we've ever produced in this country.
Very impressive.
Terry Gale was always up there
Gailey
for
was
me.
good.
Gailey was a star. Brad
Yeah.
King.
Oh, Kingy.
I've got him penciled in to talk about something else a little bit later.
He's a character.
He's going to get 2 mentions on the pod today.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Jared Mosley,
Mose.
he was
yep,
a very good
very
player.
good player.
Right,
Yep.
Nick O'Hearn.
I forgot about Nico Hearn.
No.
Well, no, you got
hang
to
on,
number
hang
16.
on.
Hey, let's, in all seriousness, did Terry Gale get to number 16 in the world? No, he did
Did they have
not.
world rankings back then? I don't
It doesn't
know.
matter. Don't. Did has
you gotta
Minwoo
go-
Lee? Has Minwoo Lee got to number 16 in the world?
No.
No,
But
he has not. Jared Mosley didn't get to number 16 in the world.
majors, though. I think it's Minjee and Hannah has one as well.
Yes.
So I think they're probably the only two
Well, you're number 3.
Western Australians who
You're
have
number
got
3.
majors.
I think at the very least, Nick, you're in the conversation.
maybe.
I think you're in the conversation.
Mate, how many West Australians got the number 16 in the world?
There you go.
There might be 2.
I don't
You and Minjee. That's it.
And Hannah. 2 Mount Lawley members. There you go. So
Gee, man, we're all going quite well.
I'm sure that's right.
Next,
okay, WA.
next
Where do
stop-
we want to go?
Well, next stop, Tassie.
Tassie.
So
Ooh.
Lindy Goggin,
Yeah, you got the Goggin family.
Matt Goggin,
Matt Goggin.
came 4th in the British Open.
Yeah.
But there was a bloke called Peter Toogood.
Oh yes.
So Peter Toogood, it wasn't called the Eisenhower back then. It was called the Canadian Cup or something like that.
What a great name, by the way. Oh, he was just too good.
And that's right. So Peter Toogood and Peter Thompson won that for Australia
Wow.
back in the 60s or something crazy.
Okay.
So Peter Toogood is up there with the Goggin family.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Righto.
It's Tassie. Let's go.
Let's go,
we got
Vic.
Vic.
Let's go, Vic. Well, Peter
Well,
Thompson's the only
Peter
person with
Thompson,
a
5
statue
times.
in
Yeah.
Victoria.
I think that'll work.
But then you got
Robert Stewart.
there's one more.
Apples.
David Graham
David Graham.
won
yes.
a PGA and he won a US Open.
Mm-hmm.
What about the girls' side?
See, I'm not good with the East Coast when it comes to some of the players.
Yeah, that's right.
This is more your realm.
Yeah,
Victorians.
I'll come back to the girls.
Come back to them?
I'll come back
Okay.
to the girls.
Go one state up then. New South Wales.
Well, you got Jan Stevenson.
Yeah.
So how many majors? I think she won 3 or 4 majors in the end, didn't she? She won one
I
of
think
those.
she won 3.
She won
Yeah.
one of those majors that doesn't sound like it's a
Mm.
major in women's golf. I think they've got, I think they've got 6 majors. The girls at the moment,
Yeah, you're probably right.
5 or 6.
5 or 6. Okay. No. Kel Nagel.
Cal Nagel,
The Open at St Andrews.
the
Does,
Centenary Open.
does it get better?
No, it doesn't get much better.
You got
than that.
Elk. Steve
Elkington from Wagga Wagga.
Elkington.
What about was Von Nider from New South Wales or Queensland? No, he's a Queensland, I reckon. The
was he?
Von, yeah.
Could have been. I think Devlin. Bruce Devlin.
Brucey.
And Bruce Crampton. New South Wales.
How many times did Bruce Crampton come second in majors?
I looked that up earlier. I think he came second in. I think he came second 4 times.
Twice to Nicholas.
Probably to all to Jack.
At least twice
He
to
had a
Nicholas.
career slam in seconds, runners up.
And what about our first ever major winner, Ferrier?
Jim Ferrier.
Was he New South Wales?
I think he was. Was he?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going
I'd
to say
have
yes.
to say yes.
All right, now Queensland is just.
He won the PGA in the 40s. So
Did he?
Yeah. PGA
Must
Championship.
have been a match play event back
Would have
then,
been
was
match
it?
play, yeah.
Okay.
All right, Queensland.
Queensland now just is
You gotta go.
there's too many to believe.
Well, the top two,
Well, Curry Webb,
yeah,
7 majors.
7. And the Shark,
Sharky,
2 majors. A little-
2 majors.
little different there,
Should have
but
been 7.
Should have been 7.
Um,
You got Grades. You got
great.
Finchy.
Peter Senior,
Peter Senior, yep.
Norman Von Nyder.
Where was Bob Stanton from? Was he in New South Wales?
I reckon Bob Stanton was from New South Wales.
Was he New South Wales? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hell of a player.
I'll tell you what, folks,
Um,
that's the best we can do kind of off the top of our head.
Mm,
But if you can get in touch with our socials
yes, this would be a good
and
one.
maybe just give us your top player from each state.
Yeah.
And we might read them out next week. And
Top 2.
top 2.
Top 2.
Top 2 players from each state.
Yeah.
And I reckon our good friends down at the Golf Clearance Outlet will look after them with a nice little prize.
We will
I'm
sling.
sure they will.
We will sling a $250 voucher to the Golf Clearance Outlet from Sam.
Sam Colosimo.
To
Beautiful.
the comment that you guys deem the best.
The best.
All right.
Because
Yeah.
we put a rationale. So this person is the best,
Yeah.
and here's why.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't have to be men and women. I mean, if there's just too many women in one, it's obvious. But just give us your best 2 players from every state in the country, and Sam Colosimo from the Golf Clearance Outlet will look after you. Hey, I saw this video during the week,
Mm.
and I've seen other videos like it. Well, I've read about other situations like it. So
Okay.
can we quickly play it for the people watching on YouTube?
Oh,
Dan?
is this the stimp meter one?
It goes down a ramp.
Yes, the stimp. Okay.
Yeah, so it goes down
Or a ramp,
it's
whatever.
like a stim
Like a
meter,
stim.
but let's call it a ramp. And here we go.
Let's have
Now
a
watch
look.
this. He puts down about, 6 or 7 balls here. Let's count them. Because it's a great illustration. 1, 2, go in.
6 balls.
3 miss.
Ooh,
3 go in.
All from the same spot.
All from exactly the same ramp that goes down. Now,
The green did look a bit long, I must admit. But
it's a little bit bumpy, but look, most people play on greens exactly like that. And of course,
Absolutely.
if they miss an 8-footer, they're smacking the putter or whacking their shoe with the putter or doing whatever. They really get upset. But when you see something like that, it's really, really important to remember that you're not putting on a billiard table. You are putting where people have been standing. You're putting over ball marks. You're putting over heel marks. You're putting over where people have leant on their putter to pick a ball up out of the hole.
did Dave Peltz do like
Yes.
some sort of thing years ago?
That's right. So I read about this, and Dave Peltz put it in one of his books.
Okay.
I used to read all these
Yeah, I
books.
used to read his books
Yeah,
too.
they were
It's
good. Anyway, he had a ramp set up, and it was probably a better ramp than that. And the ramp was placed on a PGA Tour green straight after a mow. So
Okay.
before anyone had got on the practice putting green.
Mhm.
Ramped them down, and 98 out of 100, don't quote me on that, but it's something like that,
Okay.
went in. So that's after a fresh cut. Then
Mhm.
he ropes it off and leaves for the day. So traffic all over the place, players, caddies, all kinds of things, a little bit of growth in the afternoon.
Yep.
After everybody's finished, the ramp has not moved and the hole has not moved
This is on a practice putting green?
on the PGA Tour.
Right.
So he does the same experiment, rolls 100 balls down,
Yep.
and it's something in the 60s. So let's say it goes from 98 to 65.
Wow. That's
And that is
massive.
just due to the traffic.
Mm.
Now, when you see that ball go down, the one we've just shown, it bounces off. So it just shows you how important it is to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Because when you watch that over and over, it's actually the bouncing that makes the ball go all over the place.
Yeah.
So what I might do later in the week, I might get Gene Sowers in, who is the Titleist product manager, and we'll talk about these new chain link technology Scotty Camerons that are now in pro shops all over the country.
Okay.
Because somehow, I wonder if he'll tell us. I wonder if it's like the secret herbs and spices from KFC. But
Maybe.
somehow the chain link technology gets the ball rolling.
Interesting.
And I've told you the story about Tiger Woods walking into the Yes factory, Yes putters.
Yeah.
So I've told you about that story. He said, I don't believe it, show it to me. They took him out the back. They put him on the super slow motion cameras. And he was like, wow, he walked out of there believing that the grooves in the putter face helped the ball roll and roll quicker. Well, apparently the chain link technology is next level.
The other thing you can do
Yeah.
right? And this is the moral of that story: is tee off early when the greens are much fresher.
Be a morning player. Be a morning
player.
Be a morning player. That's very important as well. Did you catch the ending of Colonial, Nicholas?
I did. Yes.
I could not believe
that back nine was. I've actually done the masterclass on a shot Ben Griffin hit on the back nine, and it's one people aren't going to expect. So I'm not going to give it away just yet.
Okay.
But the ending was fascinating too.
Oh,
With because Griffin had. Well, he started eagle birdie.
Yep.
He had a 5-shot lead somewhere on the front nine, 3-shot lead with 3 or 4 to go, and then it came down to 1 shot, I think, playing the last hole.
yeah. It was 2 shots because
It was Sorry, it was 2 shots.
The German, what's his name?
Matty Schmidt.
Schmidt, who did not smile once
No,
for
he
the
wasn't.
whole week until he chipped in from over the back on the 72nd hole.
It was a heck of a shot too. He got aggressive with his second. He kind of had. He knew he had to go for it. Although Griffin was not in a good spot either. He was just on the fringe.
Yeah, he
of the
had to
bunker.
do
He had to
the-
grip all the way down the shaft.
He had to do the Dorf
Yeah.
of golf. He had the holes were all the way down the shaft
I remember
and
that
the little
one.
chip in.
Yeah, but I think we got the chip in here, I believe.
Show the chip in and show the putt.
chip in, and then show the putt because this was fascinating with the putt as well. So, but the chip in as well. I've been down this bank. My ball's been there, and it's not the best spot.
Yeah.
It's quite a tough. You got a fair way to go up, but you had to hole it, and it's one of those freak things. And even the commentators go, "Well, he's got to hold this," and oh my goodness,
Yeah. Oh, no one believed it. No one thought this would happen.
no, not at all.
So up it goes. Couldn't land it any better. And
Wow.
Griffin actually got a good look at the break too because it went right past his marker into the hole. But I picked up what you picked up. Ben Griffin didn't change the routine one bit.
No. So we've got this as well. His
Have
putt.
you? Yeah, good.
Where only just the ball going in, but the comment by, I think it was Jim Nance afterwards, listen to his comment just at the end of this clip because it is very pertinent.
His dream comes true.
Come on, Jim.
Come on, Jim.
He made that like it was nothing at all.
He made that like it was nothing at all.
Yeah.
That's the comment. And if you watch the end of that, when Schmidt chipped in, Ben's over there just smiling.
Yeah.
Because in his comments afterwards, he actually said, when he was down there, I just thought he was going to make it. So
Yeah.
I was prepared to have this 4-footer. And then when you watch him go through his routine, he got up over it, bang, he made it like it was just a 4-footer on a Sunday afternoon Stableford comp, let alone to win his first PGA Tour event. Now, technically it's his second because he won in New Orleans, which was a teams event, but it's his first individual win. So impressive.
So just on Ben Griffin, I tuned in on Friday morning our time last week.
He looks a bit like maybe a younger Joe Biden with those glasses
Yes,
as well.
he does.
Right?
He could be a Joe
president.
Biden love child. He could well be. But I tuned in on Friday morning and the international feed came on.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Wayne Riley on course was very entertaining.
Radar's always good.
I quite like Radar. He's one of my favourites. So I was rapt to hear Radar on. But James Nitties, who has got himself in there at PGA headquarters doing the commentary,
Yep.
he called it on Thursday. He said, look out for Ben.
He's been playing so good.
Look out for this bloke. He's hitting it like a star. And to his credit, James Nitties, everyone loves James. He's a great character.
Yeah.
But well done. Stuck his neck out, didn't pick Scheffler, didn't pick, some of the other stars that were playing. He said, watch out for Ben Griffin. He is flushing it.
Yep.
And came to that, 72nd tee with a 2-shot lead. So,
No, it was impressive. And Scheffler, tied fourth and B and C game again. He didn't play. Yeah, he played okay.
yeah,
But he's unbelievable, that guy.
another top 5.
yeah,
it just
incredible.
rolls on. Now, you thought I had big news at the start.
Yeah. That was.
I've got bigger news.
Bigger.
Oh,
I've got
All
bigger
right.
news. I've got
Okay.
bigger news for you. We're going to go to a break. On the 10th tee, you will see some more enormous news.
We're live from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. We all know the number one ball in golf is Titleist and the number one shoe and glove in golf is FootJoy. We're here thanks to the Golf Clearance Outlet. They beat everyone's prices. Ping will always help you play your best. Turn your bogeys into birdies with the Watch My Numbers app. And Better, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. That's Better. Now, back to Talk Birdie to Me. Here's Nick and Mark.
So, the big news. Well, I can tell you this.
What is it?
Me? New venture. A new venture.
Oh, yes.
For you, Nicholas. Now, let me just give you a little taste right here.
Well, I've just pulled that into the penalty area. And what happens next is one of the most important decisions you're going to have to make on the golf course. How to throw your club properly. Do not, under any circumstances, throw it backwards. And never ever throw it somewhere that you can't find it. Now what you want to do is throw it towards your target. Now importantly, there are 3 different styles. Firstly, the axe throw. Secondly, you have the sidearm. And thirdly, the underarm flick, my personal favourite. And remember, always throw responsibly.
So you've gone into comedy? That's very good. That's very nice. Well done.
It's funny that video came about by accident because, you know, it's I've filmed this series called Play Your Best Golf. There's over 100 videos for people how to play. Not so much how to swing, but how to play. Yeah. And I'm going to do a masterclass every month for everyone who signs up, subscribes. But that one, it was the end of a long day of filming, and I was just like, oh, I'm so tired. And I let a club go.
What course was it? It looked good.
That was actually at Cathedral where I was filming, and Henry said to me, hang on, I think there's a video in this. So we thought, let's make it a bit of fun. And
I just want to let you know that my lawyers are going to go through this because if there's been any plagiarism from 87 tips to make your golf better,
well, I look forward to that.
You will be hearing from my lawyers.
But as you noticed at the end of the video, always throw responsibly.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
And no clubs were broken in the making of that video, so it's okay.
I thought the tomahawk, that's the dangerous one. That's when you can snap a shaft.
The axe throw, I like the underarm myself. So.
I'm an underarmer or the helicopter.
Yeah.
The helicopter, you'll never damage your club.
Always go forward too. That's very much a key.
Good luck with it.
We worked that video up on YouTube yesterday or a couple of days ago, and we had a couple of comments already on it, Nick. This is from The Glass Eye. I once threw my 6-iron backwards and upwards and it nestled softly at the top of a tree. I was on eBay that night trying to find a replacement. Months later, the club was still there.
Wow.
And Scott has said, this is the only lesson any golfer should ever pay attention to on YouTube.
There you go. Love it.
There needs to be an eBay just for golfers, you know. Yeah. That needs to happen. That needs to happen. Okay, time for this week's Top 5.
Top 5.
The Talk Birdie to Me Top 5, thanks to Southern Golf Club.
Top 5.
The top 5 golf courses that were billed as this is going to be the toughest test we've ever seen in golf.
Right.
But then the pros turned up and ripped it apart.
So is this in reference to...
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll stuck at number 5. And you helped me out. TPC San Antonio. Now, I barely remember this. It was going to be the toughest TPC course ever in America.
Yeah, we on the tour, we'd heard about this place, Greg Norman design. I think there was 36 holes, but the one we were playing, it's over 8,000 yards. Yeah. It was the first course that we were going to play at that length. I don't think it played to that length, but when we got there, we realised, hang on, it's actually firm and fast and it's not going to play that long, and everyone ate it up. It wasn't very windy either. So.
All right, I go back to 1999, the West Australian Open at Lake Carrinup. Now, they just toughened up Lake Carrinup in Perth, and if you haven't been there, it's a beautiful golf course in Perth. They just toughened it up because they were going to have the Johnny Walker Classic later in the year.
Yes.
So I shot the course record in the last round.
I don't know.
That's why it's in there. 66. I was actually 7 under through 10 and choked, but shot the 66. Brad King came home like a star on the back nine, shot 300 on the back and pipped me by 1. You mungled, Bradley, but you were a bloody good player. Anyway, The Johnny Walker Classic. So I think it was only 5 or 6 under. You know, it was Brad
This is
Kingshot.
at the W Open.
Then
Right.
the Johnny Walker Classic, the European Tour, turned up a little later that year.
Mm-hmm.
Retief Goosen started 62, 66, 62. And the big boys
I remember
ripped apart Lake Carrinup back in 1999. At number 3, a tournament called the Coca-Cola Classic
Oh, yeah.
was going to be played at Century Cove's Pines course. Arnold Palmer designed it, water all over the place. It was unusual. This is back in 1991.
Level par was going to be the winning
Level
score.
par was going to be the winning score. Roger Davis held the trophy with a score of about 20 under par at the end of the week, and the cut was even par. I remember I made the cut. It was one of the first cuts I made in that season, and it was a big money tournament. But 20 under par, Roger, you just ripped the place to shreds. Erin Hills, where they're playing the US Open Women this week. They also play, we spoke about this off the top, in 16 or 17? The US Open there. 8,000 yards. The USGA came out at the start of the week. They basically said, we only want one person under par. We want that person holding the trophy. Kepka. Brooks Koepka shot 16 under par. And I think you're right. I think, did he double the last? He doubled something late.
Yeah, I think so.
He was so close to 20 under par, it wasn't funny. So Erin Hills is in the picture. I can't wait to see what the girls shoot this week. And at number 1, this is my favourite. And we've spoken about this a little while ago. Peter Thompson designed an Australian Open venue called Moonalinks. And it was designed so only one person might be under par. He was hopeful of some weather and over par would win the tournament. Peter Lonard finished at 20 under par to rip the joint to shreds, and then went out to the Portsea pub and he left the Stonehaven Cup at the bar, and we know the end of that story. It became the business card place to dump it, and then they drew out a business card every week.
Well, I think Peter Thompson got his wish at Royal Adelaide, if you remember, because they grew the rough up there.
That's right.
And that was possibly the toughest Australian Open I've ever played in. I think Greg Chalmers won with level or one over par, something like that. So.
Would you believe that week I was playing well, and on the last round
Royal Adelaide?
At Royal Adelaide, I've birdied the first, birdied the second, and birdied the third, and I'm in reach.
Really?
Right? I'm in reach.
Yep.
I ended up shooting 78 or something. But for a moment there, I thought I was going to get the name. I thought I was going to do it.
That was the week I almost missed my tee time twice, the first 2 rounds, because I was staying up in the hills. I was sponsored by Novotel back in the day. And they had me up in the hills somewhere, and both times there was accidents on the Thursday and Friday morning. I made my tee time by 5 minutes. Made the cut on the number by like 10 over or 9 over or something like that. It was a massively high cut. Saturday, I shoot 1 under, and I go from 58th to 5th, shooting 1 under. That's how hard this golf course was.
That was a brilliant score.
And then I don't know where I finished, but I didn't obviously win.
My only other memory of that is that I got in the courtesy car on the way to the airport, and Radar, Wayne Riley, jumped in too, and he had the same story.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm going to win it. I was going to win it. And then he said he kept on missing fairways by a little bit. Of course, you're in rough this long, instead of missing the fairway by a million miles.
It was a Carnoustie-like rough, right?
It was a crazy, insane, crazy rough that week.
Well, that is the top 5 for Southern Golf Club. But we were going to go to the Pink Globals, but just a couple of seconds ago, we heard the voicemail sound go off. So would you like to have a listen to it?
Yes, let's have a
Headphones on, boys.
Headphones.
Righto.
Watch the hair, Mark, because,
Yeah, I had a haircut.
You had a haircut,
I
too.
did have a haircut.
You have one new voicemail. New message.
Hey guys, Rick from Perth here. I've recently had some trouble putting and I've reverted to left-handed instead of right-handed, but finding it a bit of a struggle to line it up straight. Just wondering if Nico Who has any tips in regards to that, the changeover. Cheers. All the best. Love the pod.
Good on you, Rick.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Well done, Rick.
you're the one with the most experience from going from left-handed to right-handed. Now, Rick went from right-handed to left-handed,
It sounds like it.
like Brad King. God, he's got 3 mentions.
He's
It's
all over
incredible
this
this week.
He had
'cause
the double-sided putter, so I think he could switch both ways.
That's right.
Yeah.
I played with him quite a few times where he was hitting long putts right-handed and short putts left-handed with an Acushnet putter.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so my advice, Rick, is this, because that is the hardest thing. When I switch from left to right with my putting, I've always looked to the right, being a left-hander.
Yeah.
Now, when you look to the left, you go, whoa, I have no idea where I'm aiming here. So there's a couple of things you can do. Firstly, and the way I started with it, and even though I'm against it, I thought, you know what, I'm going to put a line on the ball just so it helps me adjust.
Yeah.
Problem was when I put the line down on the ball to where I was aiming, I felt, well, that's making me hit it on that line, and I felt very steery over it.
Right.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, speed is more important than line. So I took the line away. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to persevere. My instincts will take over. And after about 3 or 4 weeks, I found myself not worrying about the line anymore, and the speed really improved, and the line just became second nature. So the more you do it, your brain will kick in, and you will actually adjust. Now, even to this day, I'm over a 10-foot putt. I can't tell you exactly where I'm aiming, but that's okay because the hole is 4¼ inches wide, and there's plenty of room in there. You don't have to be exact. As a left-hander, I could tell you exactly where I'm aiming, but as a right-hander, not so much. So just give it some time, and if you do struggle, try the line on the ball. I think it's a great thing for amateurs, not so much for pros, by the way.
Yeah, very good advice. And if you're a practicer, Rick, and then I really recommend the chalk line.
The chalk line's great.
The chalk line, like I said, the first time I started using a chalk line, it looked like a left to right putt. 6 months later, after religiously using the chalk line, it looked like a dead straight putt. And I knew where I was aiming. And if you don't get a chalk line, these putting mats, they're all over the place.
Putting mats.
Get a putting mat. Just Google putting mats for sale and get one with a dead straight line on it, and you will get better at lining it.
And the mirrors as well. The mirrors are good. They've always got a line on them. That'll also check where your eyes are, which is a good thing, because sometimes if your eyes aren't in the right position, the line can look a little different.
That's right.
You need your eyes either on the ball or just slightly inside. So just keep an eye on that.
That's a good idea for us, you know. We need a putting mat with the mirror.
Mirror on the putting mat.
Mirror on the putting mat.
Actually,
and then there's an extension of the line.
Very good. Right, here we go. We're thinking
don't put that on the pod. That's our idea. Leave that off the pod.
Leave that. Someone's going to build that.
Thank you for the voicemail, Rick. That was a cracker. And now it's time for the Ping Globals, because Ping will help you play your best. Here's the music. Here it is.
It's just not the same. I apologise to all the Wolfpack who yearn for Timmy Trumpet like I do.
All right.
I apologise for the listeners for Mark not being able to get hold of Timmy Trumpet. So anyway,
I've tried a number of ways.
I know.
You've overpromised, Mark, and you've underdelivered. That's what you've done.
Once again.
A bit like you at Lake Carrinup or on your career.
That's right.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
I'm used to mean stuff from the Wolfpack, but not from my co-host.
That is a very mean comment from Nico.
I heard some worse comments coming, actually, so who knows?
Oh, yes.
Come
Anyway,
on, let's get going with this.
Save that for the feedback. All right, PGA Tour, they were at the Colonial, one of my favourite courses on tour because you didn't need length. Length wasn't a big factor around there. But Ben Griffin, great one-shot win over Matty Schmidt, as we've discussed. Carl Phillips was in the hunt for a little while there too. He ended up finishing tied 11th. He was fourth with 4 holes to go, but unfortunately made a couple of late bogeys. But a nice check for the young man.
Yeah, $200,000 US dollars, so 300,000 Australian dollars is
incredible.
Good cash. Well done, Carl.
But Ben Griffin, 4 years ago, he actually gave the game away to become a mortgage loan officer. So
is that the person at the bank, is it? Who says
I assume so.
Who says computer says no?
Yeah.
is he that guy? Well done. That's, I mean, honestly, to go into the workforce because you feel like your game is useless.
Yeah.
And then somehow drift back into golf and win on the PGA Tour.
Impressive.
Win tournaments like the Colonial. You know, the win 5 weeks ago is on the teams event. I mean,
might even be in Ryder Cup discussion now, given all his good form at the moment.
Not that good winning a teams event, but the Colonial pretty awesome.
Okay. LPG.
I don't think I'd even take the win.
Oh, yes, you would.
Yeah, you're right.
You definitely
You would take it every day.
You would take it in a heartbeat.
Every day.
If I was a good player, I wouldn't take it.
Yeah, okay. On the LPGA Tour, they were in Mexico at the Mayakoba Resort. Japan's Chisato Iwai had a final round 66 for a 6-shot win over American Jenny Bay. Now, she's the twin sister of Akia Iwai, who was in our top 5 best swings a little while ago. Her sister finished tied 16th, so it's great to see those two. I think they're the first twins to ever play on the LPGA.
Yeah.
So we've got it on the PGA Tour with the Hoygards, but not on the women's side.
That's our top 5 that contains 16 female girls who can really swing the club.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, of the Australians, we had Robin Choi tied for 9th, good top 10 there. Karis Davidson, good to see her playing well as a ping player, tied for 16th, and Gabby Ruffles tied for 21st. They were the best of the Aussies. DP World Tour, they were in Belgium for the Sudal Open, where Norwegian Christopher Reiten, another ping player, started the round 9 back. The final day shot 62, had to wait 3 hours and then hold a 15-foot putt in the second playoff hole to defeat Scotland's Ewan Ferguson, who actually bogeyed the final hole of the tournament. He needed a par for the win, and Dutchman Darius van Driel. So good win there for the Norwegian.
What would you say the chances of being 9 back to winning the tournament are on the last? I would say 1% chance in 200.
Yeah, 0.5% maybe.
Yeah,
something like that.
One chance in 200 to
you
do
need a
something
lot
like
of good
that.
things to go your way.
My God, you do. You need the leaders to play like garbage, and
well,
you need the wind to change, and rain and thunder. You need everything.
You certainly do. But of the Australasians, Kazuma Kabori tied for 25th and Jason Scrivener tied for 37th. On the LET Tour, the Jabra Ladies Open, where 25-year-old Czechoslovakian golfer Sarah Kuskova had her maiden win with a 2-shot win over Shannon Tan from Singapore, who's played a bit down here in Australia. Good to see her playing well. The best of the Australasians, Momoka Kabori. That was Kazuma's sister, tied for 10th. On the Asian Tour, Thai golfer Saddam Kaukajana, who 2 years ago spent 2 weeks in a monastery to become an ordained monk.
Wow.
Has now won on the Asian Tour. No, that happens a lot apparently with young Thai Asian men. When they're about 20 years old, they go to a monastery to become ordained as a monk. It's just part of their thing, apparently.
Right.
So anyway, you must feel very calm on the golf course because there's a lot of meditation involved in that. But
Did they have a good driving range in those monasteries?
I don't know, maybe a putting green. Who knows? But he beat fellow Thai Pum Saksansin by
Jeez, they're testing you this
2
week.
shots. They really are, yes. But best of the Aussies was Kevin Yuan, tied for 15th, and Jed Morgan tied for 21st. Now, I like this name. This is an unusual name, and I'm putting this in the Ping Globals just because of the name of the Knoxville Open on the Corn Ferry Tour, Swedish golfer Pontus Nyholm. That's an unusual name, isn't it? But he eagled the first playoff hole to defeat American Johnny Kiefer. Of the Australasians, Harry Hillier tied for 31st and Rain Gibson tied for 63rd. And on the Champions Tour, the final one, Angel Cabrera has won 2 majors in 6 days.
Unbelievable.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It is incredible.
It is incredible. And they were playing at Congressional, one of the biggest clubhouses you'll ever see in any golf course in the world.
And by the way, did you see the putter that he's using?
No. What was it?
The jailbreak.
The jailbreak?
Yes.
No.
I promise.
No.
Mate. I promise. I'll
Is
send
there a
the
putter
picture.
called jailbreak?
Yeah. Yeah, I sent it.
I don't know about that.
I'm telling you.
Really?
I sent it to you. Keep going and I'll get it for you.
It's not. That's a bit off, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's true.
Anyway, the reason it's this second major in 6 days is because the previous one, the Regions, went into a Monday, and this was the Senior PGA Championship, which finished on the Sunday. But it's his 3rd win in 5 starts. He had a 1-shot win over Padraig Harrington and Thomas Bjorn. Now, Harrington had the tournament in control, but he made a double on 15, bogeyed the 18th as well, unfortunately. But of the Aussies, Cam Percy, who was the first-round leader, he finished 7th, which is a great result for Cam. My good friend Soren Kelson made his Champions Tour debut, tied for 8th. So watch out for Soren because he's going to eat this place up, I think, the Champions Tour. He's going to do really well. Steve Ocker, who's always up there, tied for 14th, and Scott Henn tied for 19th, best of the Aussies. Is it a jailbreak?
It's called an Odyssey Jailbird.
Jailbird.
The Jailbird.
Hang on, he's a Ping player and he's using an Odyssey. Maybe he's not with Ping anymore. I don't know. I'll have to figure that one out. So
Now, that's Alan Shupnuk. Angel Cabrera has won back-to-back senior majors putting with the Jailbird.
The Jailbird.
You can't make this stuff up.
Wow.
There you have it.
Isn't it ironic? Okay. That's this week's Ping Globe result.
Now, I want to give you fair warning here, just so you can brace yourself and know what's coming. There's a couple of pretty significant whacks on the way.
Okay.
Really?
Significant.
Well, it's just almost getting to the stage of mean tweets.
You love
now.
this, don't you? You love the bad stuff.
I think bad stuff is great. Have you ever seen quite often on the late shows in TV, they'll get someone like George Clooney in, and they'll get him to read mean tweets.
Really?
And it's one of the greatest things you've ever seen because it humanises George Clooney or whoever else it might be.
Who would have a bad thing to say about George Clooney, though? I mean,
there's some
Trump.
really
Trump doesn't like it.
Oh, okay. Well,
anyway, but it humanises people. I don't mind it actually. I'm happy to do it.
Why don't we? Well, hang on. So, mean tweets is where people just read out things where people are having a red hot crack at them.
Yeah,
We could do that.
Sure.
So have we got enough? Have we got enough?
I don't know. Well, how about this? Okay. What about this? What if
we don't have enough, do we?
No, I don't think we do at the moment.
How many people have a crack?
Okay. Well, what about this? What if we put it out to people and say, okay, if you've got something you don't like about the pod or about Nick and Mark,
or about Mark,
what about Dan
or me? I suppose.
Dan. Yeah.
But if there's something you dislike, or it can be anything, we'll read it out as long as it's not libelous.
We're asking people to send in mean tweets.
Yeah, we are. And we will do a bonus mean tweet pod.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Righto.
Okay.
I bet it'll be a winner. I bet it will be a winner.
Oh, gosh.
All right, well, get in touch with our socials. Send in something mean.
Yeah.
And we'll see where we end up next week.
All right, now speaking of mean, there was a few comments about your hair recently, Mark. There's been a couple of those.
I had a haircut.
You had a haircut.
Yeah,
you had a haircut. And we had a couple of comments here. Andrew has said, Mark, I never use a comb either. I just run the fingers through the hair. Beautiful. So
Thank you.
I think he's supportive.
Someone.
Very good.
Yep.
Finko said, Mark, embrace the hair while you've got it. I long for the days when I could run a brush through my hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just remember, I've got pictures of me when I was young, man. I had hair to my eyebrows. It was just, and look, it's just, and now it's going up there.
Mate, as someone who doesn't have hair, I think enjoy it while it is there.
Yeah, right.
Okay, some feedback on the raking of bunkers here. This is from Fudpacker.
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 Nice. Okay.
The sooner we get, well, look, seriously, when are we going to do Rake Pod? Because it needs to be done. We get too much of this stuff coming through.
All right.
Someone was having a crack at Kingston Heath rakes during the week. I noticed you put up.
Yeah.
I'm sure next time I'm at the club, I'm going to get smashed for that as well.
You didn't say anything.
You didn't say anything.
I know, but it's on the podcast where I'm the host, so I will get smashed when I walk through the gates of Kingston
Maybe
Heath.
that'll
There
be
is
a
no
mean
doubt.
tweet.
Maybe it could be. Fudpacker has said, I'm a greenkeeper at a golf course. The other reason the faces are kept smooth is to prevent the ball from plugging in the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bunker maintenance is the most time-consuming job of mine on the course.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, what did you say? The courses like Tara Edie where they're only raking it once a week and then the rest of the time just smooth it out and take a preferred lie.
More
right?
and more clubs in America are doing it because it just saves the man hours.
Well, Pine Valley doesn't even have rakes. They just
That's right.
wherever the
Tara
ball
Edie the
goes.
same. Tara Edie, that's I reckon it's Tara Edie's where it's come from, and I can imagine country courses. Courses in the country. Now, I'm not saying because COVID rules, you could literally pick it up but what I would recommend at some clubs who just don't have the staff to keep the bunkers you just have a local rule to where if you're in a footprint or if you're in a horrendous, someone's thrown the rake back in and or a ball mark or a furrow, whatever. If it's horrendous, fix it.
Yeah, just give it a quick.
I could see that happen.
A quick smooth and pop your ball on top.
And then people's aggro towards the golf course and the green staff disappears. There is some understanding, but we still want you to, rake up your mess.
Yep.
Because if it's not in the footprint or not in something horrendous, we want you to play it from there.
Comment from Lynx here. He said, I played a course where they told us not to repair fairway divots, but to leave it up to the greenskeepers. They clearly had trust issues. And HBR J7C, I don't think that's a real name, said, smooth lies in bunkers. Boys, they're supposed to be hazards. Oakmont went out of their way to deliberately rake furrows in their open bunkering into the 50s, a real cat of nine tails feature.
We talk about this every week. People who think that bunkers aren't hazards already, just go to the PGA app, find sand saves, go down to the median, and it's only 55%. The best players in the world out of the best manicured bunkers on the best available greens are only getting up and down 55% of the time, which means that your average Joe who doesn't play too often on greens that may well not be perfect, in bunkers that certainly won't be perfect, his chances of getting up and down would be 1 or 2%.
Sounds
1 in
about right.
50. So they are hazards. They are hazards no matter what you do.
A lot of comments last week on the conversation around LIV not being the best place to prepare for a major. And
I noticed a lot of this.
Yeah, well, and there was you made the point, Mark, that you did say it wasn't the worst place, but it wasn't maybe a 1 or 2.
It's third.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's third out of maybe 6 places to prepare for in tournaments.
Mike has said the LIV guys didn't show 36-hole match fitness. They faded very badly on that Sunday. Andrew Kirby, your mate.
Yeah, Curbs.
Curbs has said, There's a lot of very easy and soft courses on the PGA Tour, more variety on LIV, I think, and they generally set up firmer greens than the PGA Dart Fest. And most LIV guys are playing on other tours. This may be an issue in the lead-in, like these next few weeks. I think that'll evolve. Yeah. Scotty in the PGA was just too good for everyone, and that includes the 6 PGA Tour players in the top 10 official world golf rankings who missed the cut.
Yeah. So I agree with all that stuff. We're just talking about preparation. And in a high-performance world, when you're trying to extract every inch you possibly can so you are prepared better than ever, just being in front of those huge, the bigger crowds, playing events where there is a cut, so that's in the background as well.
Yeah, and typically like the Masters, for example, the week before the Masters or the tournaments leading up, they'll shave the golf course like it's similar to Augusta. Not the same, obviously. It's a little different, but you'll get the feeling of playing off the tidal eyes and things like that. That's it. British Open, they're playing the Scottish, beforehand. So you're getting to play on links courses. Yeah. So I think maybe LIV should look at that in their schedule for some of the players.
I think they should too. A lot of the negative feedback we got towards that was that.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Okay.
Okay, this is from Jacob. Given that there are only 5 LIV guys who could really be taken seriously, Bryson, Rahm, Brooks, Reed and Neiman, I'd say they're doing pretty well in majors.
Yeah, I think they're doing well too.
Yeah. DJ and Cam Smith have fallen away, but you sort of expected that given their comments even before LIV. Both have said they don't enjoy the practice and competition as much as other guys. Yeah. Yes, it's Neiman's first top 10, but he's only 25.
Yeah. See, I think there's the point that a lot of people I reckon they're going really well. For the limited amount of tournaments that they play, I think their performances in the majors is outstanding, to tell you the truth.
Bryson's been unbelievable.
Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Rahm, to have a putt to take the lead with 9 holes to play, that's outstanding. I know he didn't finish it off.
Yeah. He took a bit of a dip after he went to LIV, but hopefully he's back and
great
he'll be contending at the US Open.
But if you speak bad about LIV, then you're a LIV hater in a lot of people's eyes.
Dale has said Michael Wright has had 3 top 25 performances from 4 starts.
Yes, and I think I commented on that. We need to give Michael Wright a little bit more airtime because he is performing extremely well. For somebody who I thought had retired a long time ago. I thought he was done.
And the way he got on the tour as well, holding that shot at final hole at Q School.
That's right. To actually get on the tour the way he did, but then to take advantage of being that 5th man, that's another thing.
Yeah.
That's a whole new ball game. So one's great, congratulations, but to then take advantage of it, that is.
They can open the door for you, but you've got to walk through it.
That's exactly right. Yep.
All right, you ready for the wax to come in now?
Why not?
Yes.
Now we're going to start off with a bit of a gentle wax.
How many have we got?
There's about 3 or 4. The first one's a bit of a gentle one.
Gentle.
This is from John. Hey, gents, I think the commentary that LIV doesn't prepare you for the majors is incorrect. If the PGA is the perfect preparation, then how come 6 of the top 10 PGA Tour players missed the cut at the PGA Championship, yet the top 3 from the LIV League made the top 10? Rahm has made the top 10 in all of his LIV golf tournaments, yet you guys have been saying he's not playing well.
So just read the first bit of that again for me.
Gents, I think the commentary that LIV does not prepare you for the majors.
That'll do. Thank you. So we're not saying LIV doesn't prepare you for the majors. No one said that. We just said if the PGA Tour is 100 out of 100 for preparation for a major, and the DP World Tour might be 97 out of 100, then the LIV comes in third, and that might be 9 out of 10 for preparation for the majors, maybe 8 out of 10. And then you've got the Asian Tour. The Asian Tour would be 6 out of 10. Then the Canadian Tour would be 5 out of 10. And then the South American Tour would be 4 out of 10. So we're not saying it doesn't prepare you for the majors. We're just saying it's number 3 of preparation places to prepare for tournaments like the US PGA and the US Open.
And the other thing I think, he was talking about Rahm, he consistently finishes top 10 on the LIV Tour, but then when he's been playing the majors, he hasn't been playing that well. So he's almost answering his own question there, saying, well, what's the standard of LIV, if you know what I mean? If you're top 10ing there and then you're not doing well in the majors, well, maybe there's a bit of a disconnect. I don't know.
And he goes on to mention all these players that didn't play well at the PGA. Well, they're on the best place. Just perfect preparation doesn't mean you're going to win the tournament.
Well. No.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going to win the tournament. Perfect preparation simply means your preparation has been perfect.
All right. Ken Lotter has said, "LIV is bad, blah, 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 blah." That's his words, not mine.
Yeah.
The PGA, the Masters are not up to standard for majors. Just because America says they are majors doesn't make it right. British Open, US Open, Australian Open are better for me. Even the Players' Championship should never be considered a major. Get them in a room, fix it properly, stop changing the rules. The pro golfer should play in all conditions and just shut up.
Did he say the Masters wasn't the major?
He said, well, no, he said they're not up to standard for majors.
Wow. Okay.
I reckon we should almost block him for saying that the Masters is not a major.
Yeah,
that's pure hilarity.
I don't agree with that.
That's crazy. Crazy talk.
One last mean tweet, if you like, and this, and I've saved the most brutal for last.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, this is from Adam. Boys, if you're going to make an argument, at least make it based on some sort of factual basis. The facts are that week in, week out, the PGA Tour events are not that strong, and having a cut doesn't change that. And apart from a couple of generational talents, their results in the majors aren't that good. You guys need to take off your PGA blinkers and have a more measured and balanced look. As an example, you blasted Neiman for having his first top 10, yet for Vegas, his first top 10 in a major at probably twice Neiman's age was good to see, in inverted commas.
Hang
on, let me finish.
Yeah.
You guys come across as PGA sycophants. Additionally, the coverage was terrible, whether Immelman was on or not. Mark, he's not that good. The commentary's drab, it's boring, it has no colour, it appeals to a bygone generation and is PGA biased. Adam from Hobart.
Did Adam say we blasted Neiman for his first top 10?
Yeah, he did.
I don't feel like we blasted him. We just mused that we were both surprised that it was his first top 10.
Maybe.
It wasn't like, oh, what this bloke is hopeless. I mean, that's only his first top 10.
He's only 25.
There was none of that.
Yeah.
We were just saying it's really strange that this guy hasn't, because I think I said at the time I really rate his game.
Yeah.
I don't actually think he was having a crack at you. I don't think he was suggesting you were being critical of him. I think he was merely saying you were pointing out that he'd only now had his first top 10.
Well, we certainly didn't blast him.
No.
We were surprised.
No, and I don't think Adam's saying that.
Because I think we both rate his game.
Very much so. Yeah, he's a heck of a player. I mean, remember how he won the Australian Open down here at the Australian Golf Club. He's been winning, I don't know how many LIV events this year. He's won 3, I think. As far as Jonathan Vegas goes, well, you sort of see, I think, his career has been fascinating just with his shoulder injury. I didn't realise he was 40 though. He's a bit older than what I thought actually.
Yeah, he's old.
Neiman's younger than I thought he was, and Vegas is older than what I thought he was. And Scotty Scheffler, well, how he's 28, I have no idea. So he looks as though he's been around forever. But for Vegas, it's a fantastic result because he's one of those players where you go, well, if he has a top 10 in a major, well, good luck to you. Well done.
So,
anyway.
I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you both a question, all right? So when we talk about people who are on the side of LIV and really go in the bat for them, are they A, LIV lovers, or B, PGA Tour haters? Which one are they more?
It's a good question.
Because I think they're just PGA Tour haters. That's my belief. And it just, doesn't wear anyone down, but it's quite comical watching the comments week after week after week, even when the comments aren't what they're trying to tell you they are. I think they're just PGA Tour haters for one reason or another, and good luck to you. That's your thing. But it's interesting watching the chatter.
Yes,
on social. It's interesting watching it.
These mean tweets are going to be a fun.
Tweets are going to be
going to be a fun episode. I think.
I'm actually fully on board now. It's taken me 2 minutes to get fully on board the mean tweets episode.
I do think there are some people who do genuinely prefer the theatre and the energy, the entertainment of LIV.
I've been there. I've seen it, and I saw people go to golf that would never go to a golf tournament. So that's fantastic. I mean, there was especially younger people as well, kids that had probably never seen players like this, and a lot of females that came along to the game that probably wouldn't normally go to a golf tournament. So that was great for the game in Adelaide. Now, other events around the world, I don't know what's happening, to be honest, but
it's not quite up to that standard, and some of them are not even close to that standard. Yeah, but
are you PGA sycophants?
No, not at all. I mean, I played the PGA Tour. I know what they're all about. They've made it hard for us here in Australia, schedule-wise, things like that. So I get that side of things. But at the same time, you want to play where the best players in the world are, and that's the reason I went there and played, and I'm thankful I did because I made a lot of good friends and enjoyed the tour, but I can also see the other side of it as well. Looking back, the DP World Tour, that was probably my favourite place to play. Going to a different country every week was awesome. Yeah. Loved it.
As just someone who watches golf, I mean, it's been a long time since I was trekking around the world, but as someone who loves watching golf, I love the new names at the start of the week, and I love seeing players who are new fighting for their life, for their existence in the professional world. And then I love on round 2 of a broadcast, focus on the cut, good players having the birdie, or bad players, shaky players making a bogey.
That should be its own highlight.
I love that stuff.
It should be its own highlight show.
Yeah, it should be.
Absolutely. The cut line. The cut line, do a little KO 20-minute, mini or whatever.
And give it to our mate. Give that, our mate from Monday Q. He should host. Yeah. He should host the cut line every single week and tell those stories.
Ryan would be great.
Ryan would be great. The way he tells stories, to get the cut line stories as well from the no names. That'd be great also. And then, of course, the PGA Tour, just the pathways to the majors.
Yeah.
There are so many storylines on the PGA Tour compared to LIV. So that's why I find it more entertaining.
All right, time for the masterclass. Whose turn this week, boys?
That would be me, my masterclass. And it's actually on Ben Griffin, PGA Tour event. I'm sorry for the LIV players out there, LIV fans out there. But there wasn't a LIV event on this week, actually.
We've just lost Adam from
Clyde. I know we have. I'm sorry.
There's something significant you picked up, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But for most people, they probably wouldn't have seen this. But it was on the 14th hole. He hooked his tee shot left. His second shot was out of position. And then what he did next fascinated me and I think ended up helping him win the tournament.
Well, we'll see that in just a tick.
On the PGA Tour on the weekend, Ben Griffin, outstanding win at Colonial, but on the 14th hole he found himself out of position. He was short left, and one thing I picked up on, something small, was he didn't go for it. He actually pitched to the side about 15 feet away and made the par putt, but even if he had missed the par putt, made bogey, he took the big number out of play, and I think a lot of golfers, that's a good lesson to learn. Right here, I'm short-sided, I'm in a bit of rough. If I take this on, I'm bringing double into play, so I'm just going to play long and left, and then if it comes out a bit soft, well, guess what? It's still on the green there. Now, if I'd have gone at the pin, that would have been in the bunker. I'm making double. So when you make good choices on the golf course, you keep your card going, and that's always a great thing.
Yeah, I love this stuff because a lot of people don't understand the percentages involved in every single shot you play. And it doesn't surprise me that yours percentage playing mind picked it up.
Well, you were talking earlier about sand saves percentages. The median on the tour is 55%, right?
55%, yep.
So if you look at the situation I was in there, I would think to myself, how many times am I going to get this up and down? And in Ben Griffin's case, how many times would he have gotten it up and ground? Because he was short-sighted, he was out of position.
And that's if you go for it.
And that's if you go for it.
Yeah.
So if you go for it, you may get it up and down 1 or 2 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Not a high percentage. Now, if you go for it, how many times are you going to chunk it in a bunker or make double? Probably 4 or 5 times out of 10.
That's right.
So you got to weigh up these little risks and reward. Now, taking 3 shots from around the green is it's not a bad thing, obviously. Taking 4 is bad. Taking 2, that's fantastic. But if you take 3 shots, for most golfers out there, I think, play the percentages more often. Don't actually go for it when you don't really need to.
Yeah, that's right. And I see it a lot when people are in bunkers. And quite often, past the flag is not where they want to go. But because the flag is there, a lot of golfers go at the flag. That is right, because they're just programmed to go at the flag. But if you just aim 10 foot right of the flag, if the ball continued on the straight line, it wouldn't go into another bunker. It wouldn't go into a dip.
Yeah.
And I think those sort of things for your weekend warrior style players or players of a handicap of 15 or 16 who don't do much practice out of the bunkers or don't do much practice when you've got a poor lie in a bunker, playing safe in the traps is so important.
And guess what, Mark?
What?
There's a new video series out that shows you all this stuff, right? Play your best golf. Look it up, nickohearn.com, by the way. I'm giving myself a nice little plug.
That's all right.
No, but it's all about how to play those little scenarios where should I do this or should I do that? There's a lot of decisions that go into a round of golf, and you're riding this roller coaster the whole way around. If you can keep your card going, makes the world a difference.
Yeah. So what's the website, Nick? Just say
just on mine, nickohern.com.
No, I had a look at that, and I know there's a subscription fee to access the content.
Correct.
But I was amazed at how affordable that was, because I thought it'd be actually a fair bit more, to be honest. Well, I reckon you've underpriced it.
Well, I wanted to make it affordable for everyone. That was one thing. I think the value with it is you get all these videos. I'm going to add to them every month, and the other thing is every month I'm going to do a live online masterclass for whoever subscribes. So people can ask questions. We probably might even do it from here in the Titleist headquarters studio, maybe over at Ping as well. But that's going to be some fun discussions coming up.
Yeah, nice.
That's great. All right, guys, that's fantastic. Look out for the Scotty Cameron.
Ooh.
Yeah, watch out for that little masterclass on the new technology of making the ball roll along the greens. Not mean tweets this week, but certainly keep an eye out for that one too. That's on the way. We'll catch you next time, folks.
Cheers.
And that's been Talk Birdie to Me, Australia's most popular golf podcast, with Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen, coming from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. As everyone knows, Titleist is the #1 ball in golf, and FootJoy the #1 shoe and glove in golf. Wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to subscribe, maybe leave a review, and we'd love you to share the pod with a friend who loves their golf. Huge thanks to our fantastic partners. Ping, like they do for Nick O'Hearn, will help you play your best. You can see your local golf shop or professional for a Ping club fitting. The Golf Clearance Outlet always beat everyone's prices. Visit golfclearanceoutlet.com.au for your nearest store. Watch My Numbers is the most powerful data-based golf app in the world. You can download from the App Store or Google Play. And better, they've got the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Download from the App Stores today. Now that's better. Keep in mind, what are you really gambling with? But for now, from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, thanks for being a part of the show. We'll see you next time.